Without any further ado, let's kick off our community update segment. So let's talk about the narrative for Road to Hell.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions. That saying is where the event title comes from. So we have this group of military characters with really good intentions. You'll remember in Devil's Trail, there were some scouts that were sent ahead. This military group coming up in Road to Hell are the people who sent them. And they sent them ahead to try to gather information about the rumors they're hearing about this corruption in Colorado and Louisiana. But the scouts disappear. That does not go well. So we've got Commander Whitlaw. And he tries to get an official group to go in and investigate this, but he is denied by his superiors. So he puts together a rogue group. There were 25 infantry regiments at the time, so they call their rogue group the 26th. So when they arrive in Louisiana, they are horrified by what they see. It's like nothing they've ever encountered before. Their first mistake is their arrogance, and their second is their optimism. And basically, they slowly descend into madness as they face the horrors of the bayou.
One of the biggest features of the event is the new Strongholds, our kind of largest 17 compound that we've done. It features a cage boss target, and I think there's a bunch of more level changes around to make the world more immersive.
So, of course, we have our 2 hunters, Nikki already talked about, in the Battle Pass. Really cool. Then we have good intentions for all variants of the Scotfield.
Yeah, I like this one because it's kind of like a tame, like a simpler skin in terms of like it's more grounded.
Yeah.
But it kind of fits in nicely with some of the guns that are usually a bit more on the frontier look side of things. So I really like those.
So I think it looks really cool. And again, it's for all variants.
Yeah. Yeah, like for me, this is really cool because like we don't have that many of the mace skins so far, so this is like a very welcome addition. Also, like I like this general more wireframey look of it. Like they're more like stripped down, bare bones, down to the essentials.
Yeah, in the same theme, we also have Patriarch's Shadow, which is for the infantry 73L, the bayonet, and the sniper version of that as well. We also have a flare pistol called Stoke the Madness, and the machete. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool look as well. I think like it's one of the really good looking ones because it is very different from the other machetes, but it still it looks the part. You can see it and it's like, yep, big blade, long. Okay, yep, I know what to do with that one.
Then we have some of the military themed skins in the Battle Pass as well, starting with the ammo box called Gilded Defense.
Yeah, that's a nice one as well.
Yeah, they look amazing. And Strong Constitution, which is for the first aid kit. I hope I don't have to use them too much, but if I do, they look amazing. We have Let Freedom Sing, which is for the officer. Yeah, this is one of my favorites for sure. Look, like just the black and gold.
It's a classic.
Yeah. It always works. But.
Yeah, always works for real. Then we have the saber that you may have also seen in the trailer called Mounted Flourish. What is that?
It looks like a new gun we might want to talk about a bit.
Yeah, it looks new, so I cannot say, but the skin looks very cool. And of course, as in every Battle Pass, we have our list of weapon charms. So we have Bad Faith, Dreams of Glory, Lost Identity, and for the bonus reward, as always, when you complete the Battle Pass, and that one extra level is for Liberty. Yeah. So let's talk about the new event compound, the Stronghold.
Yeah, so the Stronghold is kind of our most ambitious 17th compound, I'd say, to date. It takes all the learnings we have from like the Bile Weaver Nest, the Murder Circus, and we truly believe this is like the amalgamation of all that effort, right? Like the team, I think, knocked it out of the park with this, and they're very large. I think once you see it in game, it's like an awesome sight. Because they're all unique, I think for the first 2 weeks, we'll only have one location per map active. Yeah. So players can get a bit familiar of like the different areas, kind of the rules of how the Stronghold is built. And then they have an idea how to kind of approach this place.
Yeah, it's like learning like entire new boss layer.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. And then obviously after the 2 weeks, then all of the locations will be unlocked. We have a banishable target in there. And because the Strongholds are so big, and we want combat to happen there, and we want you to defend them, and this allows that, right? So so you can already see the scale of the Stronghold, right? It's like really large. On the right, you kind of see the tent area. In front, you see the main building. And over here, you see the caged boss target isn't fully dead, and hence boss whispers are also active, so you kind of know if people are around. But once you banish the boss, you're kind of all there on yourself.
The normal process, yeah, exactly.
Oh, look what's there. We'll talk about that a bit later. Talking about the trenches and the terrain tool, we've not only have them in the Stronghold, but we've taken to like kind of expanding it and kind of creating a more immersive atmosphere around the whole map. So you find like a lot of little areas with like these bunkers, these little trenches with some loot scattered around. I think it really adds to the full experience. So you can see the icon here. This will be marked on the map by default. It is also one of the locations with the scouting map.
So the Inferno is something we want to continue featuring. However, so we've decided like for this event, we're going to take a break from Inferno, but we want to get it back like as quickly as possible afterwards in the next update. So
let's talk a bit about player profile customization.
Yes. So in general, like there's new cool like cosmetic pieces, content, etc. Obviously, they're being supported with like titles and avatars. We also have like a new like stat tracker for this new rifle, the 1890 Cavalry we saw earlier. We'll talk about this in a bit. And then also like there's going to be like additional progression and customization options just in general. We now introduced a new story challenge, a free story challenge that is basically active by default for every new player. So it's something that allows players to just like have a bit more hand holding there and ease them into the mechanics. We are basically introducing a more granular level of categorizations, which is not just the size, but also now a bit of the power that a weapon has. So it's more of an abstract thing. So we don't call it a large slot anymore. We give it like a number value to kind of relate to one another. But as you can already see with the little size indicators, like little squares there on each of those, is that because they are now differently categorized, like the Centennial actually is a larger weapon than, for example, like the other one next to it. So what that means is that we have more options to distinguish between the power level and kind of also like, to a certain extent the physical attributes still obviously of a weapon to kind of find these combinations. But yeah, I mean, it looks kind of same. A lot of the loadouts still remain valid, basically. We are now treating the tools and consumables as one shared pool of 8 slots. You have to kind of like take a risk if you want to over specialize, because you might be missing out some really crucial pieces. So like if you go all in on the tools or all in on the consumables, you might be really strong in that area, but you might definitely be lacking something on the other side. What kind of fits those weapons best? And rather than being hard locked to 4 each, if you really feel maybe like more tools or more consumables are aiding that particular loadout, you can just do that. Yeah, like so the whole thing is flanked now, not only like we don't have just like the inventory slot rework, but since it touches the core of the game, it also means that there's going to be additional work needed across all different areas of the game, be that trades or weapons, etc., to kind of make sure everything kind of integrates nicely into this new rule set.
I mean, we've been talking about like, certain loadouts need quartermaster now, etc., but we've also made it harder to get quartermaster, right? Yeah. Now it costs 8 points, and like you really need to double down if you really want this loadout in your first go, and it's become more of a trait that you want once you've extracted successfully, etc.
One of the bigger changes that flanks the entire system change is also that we looked at specifically the long ammo weapons, and one of the dynamics that we've been also dragging around for a long time is just that we should split long ammo. That level of kind of like rarity that you have around these weapons, I think we thought is best represented by calling it now the special long ammo category. So we have split them. So yeah, all of the modern bolt action rifles, military grade rifles specifically, are using that new type, and that means they need special ammo boxes to resupply, not regular ammo boxes. While the more traditional, more vintage rifles and weapons, like even the uppercut, etc., they kind of use like that older classic black powder version, and they can resupply from regular boxes. Now these weapons are competing against each other within their class, within size 3, within size 4, etc. So we're doing some corrections here and there about some of the extra capacity, because in some cases you can even get like 2 of those, right?
Yep, and then double your ammo reserves, right?
Yeah.
So what about that big Maxim M1895?
It's a new prototype machine gun. And you can find it exclusively in the strongholds. You can just spam those shots, like it overheats very quickly. Main reason for that one is obviously from a gameplay balance perspective, but also this weapon fires only incendiary ammunition, and you can kind of say like it kind of heats up a lot faster than maybe it would in real life because of that.
And we kind of mentioned this already a few times, so it's the 1890 Cavalry.
Yep. So this is one of the weapons you would expect an army force rolling into this area to bring the most. So we wanted to have a weapon that was kind of feeling like there's a thematic fit in there. And we chose the Cavalry version, which is like the more stubby, shortened version of it, rather than a full sized rifle, because it's a nice trade-off as well, like between like this more compact nature and the power it brings. So as you can see here, like classic approach, single shot trapdoor rifle, or rather carbine, and very quick to reload. Obviously, you can use fast fingers with this one as well. Very nice as your main weapon with a strong backup, or even as being like an equal amongst two size 3 weapon choices, where this could be then your precision one, and maybe you have an officer carbine or something like that, like for close range, or a Lamat carbine with a shotgun added to it. So really good options for you to kind of like pair this up with. See you on the road to hell.
Yeah, see you everyone, and have a great evening. Bye.